So now, now let me say this. If you don't have a pen and paper, if you don't write fast, you might want to turn on your cell phone so you can record this system. I call this tongues of fire getting ready to come up here. So if you ever listen to her on Urban Agenda on Thursday night, you got to hold on and get ready to roll out. Because she can speak it, and she can talk it, and she can move it fast. So if you kind of get ready, you kind of dozing off, and you should be dozing off because this is an agenda that's about you. But if you are trying to doze off, get prepared, hold on to your seats, because she's getting ready to light you. I don't even know what she's going to talk about. I mean, I do know what she's supposed to talk about, but I don't know how she's going to deliver it. Let me just say it like that. So I know that she will wake you up if you've been asleep. All right, come on, Executive Director Lissa Jones.
Who are you? And what was your name? And what language did you speak? And what did you have? These are the questions that were posed to the African American in 1963 by the great Malcolm X. Fundamentally, our mental health lies in the answers to those questions. My mother and father gave me a name, and it tells me who I am, and where I came from, and what I had. And our mental health is largely predicated on what the ideology of white supremacy says is good mental health. I want to share with you just a piece from a gentleman by the name of Dr. Joseph White. We know him out of the University of California at Irvine as the father of black psychology. In 1970, in Ebony magazine, he started a new conversation in mental health titled Toward a Black Psychology. Regardless of what black people ultimately decide about the questions of separation, integration, segregation, or revolution, or reform, it's vitally important that we develop, out of the authentic experience of black people in this country, an accurate, workable theory of black psychology. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to understand the lifestyles of black people using traditional theories developed by white psychologists to explain white people. Moreover, when white psychologists talk about it and use traditional theories applied to the lives of black folks, many incorrect, weakness-dominated, and inferiority-oriented conclusions come about. In other words, if the standard is wrong, how come we keep using the same standard and decide we don't measure up?
That's right.
Dr. King, in his letter from the 1963, written on the backs of scraps of paper, we now know as the letter from the Birmingham jail. He called the fundamental question that if something is wrong with the community, 3 centuries, 4 centuries later, the same thing, Malcolm X said the problem is still here, then we're failing to grapple with the root. We get all distracted by all the things going on and never grapple with the root. What if the standard is wrong? In the 1950s, Dr. Kenneth Bancroft Clark and his wife created the black and white doll experiment to determine what the effect would be on African Americans for integration into this United States. As we are all acutely, sadly aware, most of the children chose the white doll as the good doll. And now, young people, check YouTube, because in 2006, a young sociology student by the name of Kiri Davis, a senior in high school out of New York City, recreated the black and white doll experiment and unfortunately yielded exactly the same results. And she started out this magnificent work of 7 minutes with this: I knew at an early age what it meant to be a girl like me. If we want to talk about solutions to black mental health, this is how we do it. Question whether the standard that tells you you have a problem is the problem. Next, if we are ignorant of who we are and what we had and what language we spoke, I'll never forget Spike, and where we come from, then we will not be able to tell our children, because the greatest weapon my parents ever gave me against racism was knowledge of self. Third, when we feel bad and we stay feeling bad, we need to understand that's not crazy, right? That's broken with a chance to be healed. we need to be all right seeing the doctor. We need to be all right with seeing the doctor. And we need to stop perpetuating the myths that say black people are crazy if they need to see the doctor. We need to say, welcome, brother. How can I help you fill up what has been missing so long? And last, know your history. Roxanne Gibbons was just before you, the curator of the Minnesota African American Museum, the first of its kind ever in the state, that will stand as an institution to defy the lies and myths that have been told so long about black people, that Spike Moss brought to us so powerfully this morning. I can never hear you speak and not be moved. So Twin Cities, if we are going to do anything, we must believe that all of the help we require is right here in the village. And all the myths and lies we've been told, let's have amnesia about that, instead of amnesia about who we are and what we had and what our name was and what language we spoke and where we came from. That's right. And in honor of the Minnesota African American Museum, I leave you with a quote from Carter G. Woodson, who also wrote The Miseducation of the Negro, and if you haven't read it, you are so miseducated, right? But we'll check it out. Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose inspiration. They lose the inspiration, which comes from the teaching of biography and history. So says the great ancestor Carter G. Woodson. And as we do every Thursday night, thank you for those of you who love and listen to Urban Agenda. I'm also so grateful. I'm with Spike Moss, right? We can either talk about it or we can be about it. And when the wheat is separated from the chaff, Lord, let my works speak for me. So we're up here in North High, y'all, and we're giving it to you. But the question is, can you dig it?